in their trophy case they can now lay claim to.
I mean, Faker was very eager there as well.
Yeah.
Just jumps up, holds the trophy up.
He's like, I'm the captain, boys. I'm going to lift that trophy on my own. But
they're sharing it now, though, and I just can't say enough about how impressive it is that SKT has sustained this dominance. Oftentimes, we overlook that fact.
And to think that last year, heartbreaking 5 games versus a Chinese lineup in EDG to come into Shanghai and be able to take out North America's CLG.
All right, as Rendon moves onto the stage, we've brought Winston Zhang to the analyst desk to help us with some translations through the winner's interview, as well as the presentation of the medals.
So congratulations, SKT, for winning the MSI Championship at Shanghai. Give SKT a round of applause. Now we'll have Riot Games.
These are the directors of esports at Riot Games, Riot Magus and Brad Moore, moving to the stage to help with the presentation of the medals.
Yeah, we'll finally be able to see how SKT has gotten so good in the first day, but on the second day and third day, they didn't do so well, but they finally managed to come back and finally be able to get the championship at MSI. Finally be able to beat NALCS today at the final day. And they're going to crown the trophy. This honor belongs to every single player and belongs to the entire team. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Faker. Thank you, Blank. Thank you, Wolf. And Ben. And their manager, Kat, and Colma, coach. They performed so well, one after another. They have finally been able to win every championship and every tournament. World Championship, IEM, MSI. This is the very last championship that I've yet to get, but today they finally got it. This honor also belongs to LCK. Now, let's take a picture along with our guest and SKT. And congratulations to MSI World Championship, SKT.
A much-deserved picture at that. Blank getting startled by the confetti cannons.
I don't blame him.
I just love Blank here. He's happy after the win. The sheer amount of emotion on his face after getting a trophy, I just think that is the thing you watch for. Just how happy he is with it makes everything worth it.
Now we have Faker and Blank. We're going to get a quick on-stage interview. So first off, Faker, the Demon King Faker. Now you have finally won the MSI championship. The very last championship that you get. What do you have to talk to the fans at the stadium?
그래서 이 자리에서 계속 사랑해 주시고 응원해 주신 팬분들한테 좀 간단하게 말씀 좀 해 주시죠.
네. 이렇게 우승까지 할 줄은 좀 몰랐었고 그동안 좀 한국 팬들이나 세계 모든 팬들이 응원을 많이 해줬기에 저희가 우승할 수 있었다고 생각하고요. 그리고 현장에 와주신 중국 팬분들한테도 정말로 감사드립니다. 네, 谢谢.
He didn't know he can make this far, and he cannot do this without everyone's support here that motivate them to keep them moving forward and to finally get the victory. So thank you so much for everyone, for the Chinese fans who are here today at the stadium. So after getting every single champion, we're very curious what's next step for you.
그러면 지금은 유일한 가져가지 못했던 우승컵도 가져가는데 그래서 이 스포츠 목표는 혹시 무엇인지 새롭게 좀 얘기해 주시죠.
모든 그 대회에서 우승을 하긴 했지만 앞으로 생기는 대회들도 또 다른 대회들이기 때문에 앞으로 있을 대회들도 다 우승할 생각입니다.
他说他的目标就是，
He said
虽然现在过去的这些在
his goal
联
is
赛
that
S 级的联
what's
赛里
past-
面都获得了胜利，但是以后还会有源源
What's
不断
past is
的那
past.
些联赛出来，
But there are
然后
going to
他
be
希望
more
在以后
championships,
所有的
more
比赛里面
tournaments,
都获得胜
and
利。
he wants to take them
好的，
all.
在采访完了 Faker 之后呢，其实本届大赛啊，黑珍珠 Blank 的表现也是非常的棒。
Well,
有请到
the
Blank
other
来到我们的翻译的身
player
边，
Jungle,
我们也是要
Blank
简短
also
的采
played
访一下
phenomenal in
Blank。
this tournament.
那
And we're going to give
Blank
him
在
a
加
quick
入到
interview.
了 SKT 这支战队之后，现在已经实现了
So
IM
after
包括是
joining
本届的
SKT,
季中冠军赛
Blank
的
has
两座奖
won
杯了。
IEM Championship and MSI
想跟他的
Championship
兄弟们
with
说呢。
along with SKT. What do you have to say?
이번에 SKT는 졸업하고 다음에 IEM이랑 MSI의 이런 세계적인 대회에서 다 우승하게 됐는데 그래서 옆에 같이 싸워주신 그런 팀원들이 그 말씀해 드리고 싶은 말 좀.
일단 부족한 저를 많이 챙겨주신 팀원들이랑 코치님, 감독님들 정말 고맙고 정말 케어를 잘 해주셔서 저희가 또 우승까지 하게 된 것 같아요. 정말 감사합니다.
然后 Blank 是说，就是非常感谢，就是他在
Thank you
状态
very
不好的
much
时候，
for
依旧
everyone
就是
who
鼓励
support
他，
him
然
when
后
he
支
didn't
持
play so
他
well
的所
and
有
to
的
continue
队
supporting
员，还
him.
有就是教练，
Everyone,
然后
the
就是
fans, the
非
coaches,
常
all the other
谢
players
谢
who has
大
been
家
supported
在他
him.
身边这样。
And thanks
好的，那么
everyone
在
to
采
have
访
him
完了我们
on
的
his
队伍
side
的选手
along
之一
with
之后
him.
呢，我们也是再一次的恭喜本次的季中
Now,
冠军赛的
after
冠
interview,
军
which is
来自
once
LCK 的王
again,
者
congratulations
SKT
SKT.。
我们再次把掌声送给他们。
We give them another round of applause.
在经过了本届比赛之后呢，今年的
After
期中考试对于各大赛区来说是暂时的告一段落。但是我们有理由相信，今年
So
在
MSI
美国
has finally
的
come to
4
the
站
end.
的世界
But
全球
coming up
总决赛
next
的
is
时
going
候，
to
肯
be
定会包
Season
括是各
6
大赛
World
区为我们
Championship
上演
in
更
United
加激烈
States.
的对决。
And we'll
同样
definitely bring
各
you
大赛
on
区的
more
夏季赛
exciting
马
games.
上也要开始了，我们要继续关注
And
这
also
个属于
LPL is about
英雄联
to
盟的夏
start.
天。最后，再一次把掌声送给我们的冠军 SKT。
Well, once again, a much-deserved victory there by SKT, the reigning world champions and now the MSI champions to boot. Once again, Winston, I'd like to thank you for help with the translations there. And we're going to hold you on the desk at least for a little bit longer to maybe get some insight from you as well. But, gentlemen, let's break down this run here by SKT through the group stages where they had a bit of a stumble, the reformation, and then the ultimate victory over CLG in the finals here.
Yeah. I think that this tournament, when you have a look at historically how much this team has accomplished, but they've also had some huge ups and downs. And I think that the start of this year, it looked like maybe they were going to be slumping one more time, but they've come back through adversity. They've made the roster changes that they needed to do. And you know what? Like, ultimate validation here of a lineup because they 3-0 North America CLG, who was also an impressive team at this tournament.
Yeah, CLG stepped up, and their motto was win everything. But it's SKT who has actually won everything at this point.
Well,
LCK,
wasn't their motto
MSI,
like fear none,
and World
respect all?
Championship. They also said win everything at the end of like every interview.
Their goal coming into the season was to win everything. Their motto coming into the tournament, respect all, fear none.
Yeah, and the way SKT just systematically takes each team apart, they're like the Borg. They just always adapt to any situation and will continually get stronger and stronger. Who's going to beat them at this point? Because this was the year for them to go down. They switched out 2 players, the season changed again, and they win yet again.
Yeah, that's the big question that we have left to answer. Crepo, any thoughts on that one?
I mean, just the biggest slump since their 2014 season where things didn't go that well, and it was looking very rough. It all looked like Rox Tigers would be here, honestly.
That's very true.
They probably are. Also, the answer to Jad's question, who's going to beat them? Probably the Rox Tigers, if anybody. Maybe China can keep progressing, because we can't also... We have to mention, rather, just the progression that China has made in these tournaments. RNG definitely showed up. Yeah, sadly, they played the semifinal instead of the final, but that could have been definitely a worthy final as well.
Yeah. Now, I'm sorry to cut you off there real quick, Spawn, but before we head down to an interview for ourselves, I want to come to Winston and ask you what it's been like to experience this event here in Shanghai, China. Since you've been very actively involved in communications with all the players from all the teams, what's been your take on this event so far?
Well, this event has been amazing. And one thing I have to point out is that how excited the matches are, especially in group stage. Every team can beat every other team. So it was really exciting for the fans, the local fans here, to be able to come out and join the excitement from esports. I think everybody likes it. We have a really well set up stages.
No shortage of exciting games through the group stages themselves. Gentlemen, let's talk about those. And so, like, in terms of the way that the entire journey of this tournament was, is that we had these expectations set that, you know, that's so, no, but, you know, and it's not to take
called it SKT T1.
Yeah, that's true.
We
You got one right.
Predictions in the world.
You know, I don't, you know, it's not to call it out and make fun of it. It's to say that that was popular opinion was there were so many ideas of how this tournament would result. And it's great to see in international competition so many things turned on their head, barring the eventual SKT win, which is like, okay, when, yeah, exactly. When's that going to end?
Yeah, three things are certain in life: death, taxes, and SKT winning the tournament. But the rest is like left to be decided.
All right, well, of course, as I throw that question to you, we are now ready for our interview. So it's time now to toss it down to Shox, who's standing by with a member of CLG.
Thank you very much, Dash. And first up, of course, thank you to Afromu for talking to us here. I know it might not be easy after, of course, not getting your hands on the championship, but with what feeling do you walk away from your games here today?
Playing against SKT definitely was pretty amazing, I would say. I'm not that sad coming out with the 0-3 loss. I thought we played pretty well, but our execution just wasn't really there. And we know what we have to work on coming in the next split. And SKT is just a really damn good team.
Obviously, they are a damn good team. And you guys have put down a perfect or a very good performance up to here. How much of that will that give you a boost to go now into the next split of the LCS? Because you started with some rookies, a new team, and a project. But now there's going to be so much more expectation on your shoulders.
Yeah. Coming into the international tournament, we definitely learned a lot, and being able to play against all the teams and making it all the way to finals, we have a lot of knowledge that we can use for our play. And going into NALCS, I think that NA as a region will probably do a lot better at Worlds this time around. Definitely really confident in saying that, and that's it.
Okay, you talked about having learned a lot. Range support meta, is it a tournament meta thing, or is it a real thing?
It's actually a real thing. The supports in the series that we had just played, he countered me every time I picked Soraka. So it was pretty damn good pick, I would say. I knew he was probably going to pull out Nami or Sona or something like that. But supports right now, it's really good not to shy away from all of the pool of supports, since they all bring a lot to the table. So Nami, that game, Wolf was going off every single game. He had sustain versus Soraka, and then he had an engage with his wave. So he played it really, really well, and props to him.
Why didn't you want to steal it away?
Oh, why didn't I want to steal it away? Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Next time. Finally, obviously, a great journey here for CLG so far in this season. Second place at MSI, and actually defeating the odds and doing a lot of things that nobody had seen you doing this season. What feeling do you walk away from this, and what do you want to tell your fans that stuck by you?
Pretty good, I guess, getting second. Not really, I went first, but thank you to everyone who supported us. We appreciate it immensely, especially to our foreign fans, not just NA, even though we're representing our region. And thanks a lot for everything, and I want to give a special thank you to Team Liquid's Challenger team, Team Liquid Academy, for scrimming us before coming to this event. We didn't really have any scrims, and those guys definitely stepped up to help us practice in coming into MSI.
Well, awesome for giving you the props to that team as well. Congratulations, Afro, on a fantastic tournament overall, a fantastic showing for NA and for CLG, and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks.
There we go, Afro. Always happy, although a bit disappointed not getting the title, but still happy with their overall performance. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Shox. Afromu leading the charge there, the leader of that team for all intents and purposes. And I think we have to reiterate the fact that CLG should be proud coming away from this tournament with the second place finish. Although, yes, it's, you know, you didn't snag the #1. Everybody should be gunning for the win.
You know, you could have issues finding scrims and then maybe just not scrim at all and then have a worse tournament. So I'm really happy with what CLG brought to the table here.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting as well is, like, this isn't the first time we've seen somewhat competitive series between a North American and a Korean team. Like, if we think back to the 2014 World Championship, both Cloud9 and TSM had 3-1 series. So, like, the actual score of this series was worse than then. So I don't want to go ahead and say, like, man, what massive growth, the gap is closing. Like, I'm not going to go and make those statements. But what I will say for CLG is that they played a great tournament based on their expectations. This is the best North America has done in reference to every team that's not the Korean teams. And they did also take a game off of SKT in the group stage, so a lot to take back home and still be very proud of.
Yeah, and with the current state of the roster, I mean, like 2 first-year players coming into this tournament, Stixxay completely unproven on an international stage, relatively unknown, and they come out and get some very well-respected dues, I guess, by the end of the series. And, you know, one thing that I think they will take away from this that maybe RNG won't is that their mental fortitude against SKT never wavered. They fought until the very, very end, and to be able to hold your head high and say that with pride is something that North America will definitely take away from this.
Yeah, I was going to return to that point about the mental fortitude being a huge thing for CLG. Do have to push us ahead, though, as both teams did give it their all on the Rift today. We, though, have to see, as we have before, that Faker carried harder than the rest. He's going to be awarded our player of the series, bringing his 33% of the team's damage and 18 kills in 3 games. He gets that honors as is much deserved.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of things to be said about Wolf's support pool and Bang on 80 carry and Duke with the split pushes, but like, this team is so focused around Faker. The way their dual lane can play passive because they expect Faker to carry almost every game. He destroyed these games even when he was getting incredibly focused, so hats off to Faker for staying dominant.
And if anyone wants to see what SKT looks like when Faker's slumping, go watch the group stages again because he was not having a great tournament, so credit to the young man one more time for turning it around and proving that he is the best player in the world. I already said it, Poke God enough times he starts poking you back, and Faker was throwing haymakers this whole series long.
A poke from God is much more powerful than a normal poke as well. It's usually a solo kill of some kind.
It's usually the equivalent of supports getting poked by mid laners and then just dying. But yeah, I think SKT played very well as a team, and it's really hard sometimes to get the clear MVP. I think Faker did stand out. But yeah, props to Wolf too. Fantastic Nami play, some really nice bubbles. For me, it'd be a tie between him and even Duke. Certain like high impact moments, but over the entirety of the series, everything together, what they mean for the team, how they impact each other, Faker still is a well-deserved MVP.
Absolutely a team effort. Shox is joined, though, in the interview lounge by the man himself. So let's head downstairs, for a word.
Thank you so much, Dash, and congratulations, Faker, of course, once again. I know you talked about it just a few seconds ago on stage, but I do want to ask you again how it feels after last year not being able to get that victory to now be the person holding the trophy and having all the confetti here at MSI.
그 페이커 선수 그 작년에 이제 MSI에서 준우승을 맛봤지만 이제 올해는 이제 우승을 하면서 그 모든 이제 그 축하와 이제 그러한 우승컵 들고 그렇게 우승하게 되었는데요. 소감 좀 말씀해 주세요.
우선 그 같은 이름들의 대회를 여러 번 다 우승하긴 했지만 다음에 열리는 대회들은 또 다른 대회들이기 때문에 다시 새로운 마음으로 다시 우승에 도전하는 그런 대회라서 다음 대회들도 열심히 할 생각이에요.
I won several championships that like LCK, World Championship, and so on. But each tournament is a new tournament, and we'll keep trying to win those tournaments continuously. Yeah.
Well, talking about the tournaments that are still coming, you have won everything there is to win, but there's something very special possibly coming up at the end of the year. We're going back to North America for the World Championship and the Staples Center, where it all began for you guys, and you got your first title. How special would that be if you guys were able to show up there and possibly get your third World Championship title where it all began?
그 이제 올해 롤드컵 결승전은 이제 페이커 선수랑 SKT 팀이 처음으로 국제 대회 데뷔한 시즌 3 롤드컵인 LA 스테이플 센터에서 다시 열리는데 결승전이 거기에 다시 한번 진출하게 된다면 얼마나 특별하게 페이커 선수에게 얼마나 특별한 의미가 있을지 말씀해 주세요.
스테이플스 센터에서 저희가 처음 우승했을 때 그때가 저는 가장 기뻤다고 생각하고 그래서 그때 그 경기장을 올라가면은 새로운 느낌일 것 같고 또 많이 기대돼요.
I'm really looking forward to go to the Staples Center once more. When we won back at season 3, that was my happiest moment, actually the best moment as my professional career. So I think it's gonna feel really different and new if I get one more chance to go to that Staples Center.
Definitely will. And it is in your hands. Our analyst awarded you with Player of the Series. So it was a very hard decision. Who would you give it to if you were given the decision?
그 방금 이제 저희 분석가 데스크에서 페이커 선수가 이번 결승전에 이제 최고 선수로 손꼽혔는데 페이커 선수가 이제 정한다면 어느 선수에게 이번 결승전 최고의 선수의 영예를 줄 수 있을까요?
저도 잘하긴 했지만 저는 솔직히 저랑 뱅이랑 울프랑 다 정말 잘한 것 같다고 생각하고 나머지 듀크 형이나 성구도 정말로 잘 해줬는데 그 중에서도 저는 바텀 듀오가 좀 잘했다고 생각해요.
So I agree that I played very well, and also like Bang, Wolf, like Duke and Blank. But if I had to pick, I want to thank the bottom duo, Bang and Wolf, for this series.
Yeah, they had an amazing series. Just 2 more questions. First up, I want to get your opinion on your enemy in this series, CLG, who is actually a team that was reformed and has rookies in their squad only since the beginning of the split. How far do you see them going? How do you see them evolving?
그럼 이제 이번에는 그러면 결승전에서 맞붙은 CLG 팀에 대해서 묻고 싶은데요. CLG 팀이 올해 이제 신인 선수 2명을 새로 영입하면서, 그러니까 스택스 선수랑 후이 선수를 새로 영입하면서 나름 새로이 꾸린 팀인데 붙어 보니까 이제 CLG 팀이 앞으로 어떻게 성장할 것 같고 얼마나 더 이제 좀 잘해질 것 같나요?
오늘 CLG랑 상대 보면서 느낀 점은 그 CLG가 정말로 운영을 잘한다는 느낌이 들었고요. 그렇지만 저희가 좀 한타 이기는 싸움을 잘 봐서 이겼다고 생각하는데 CLG에서는 그 부분을 보완만 하면은 좀 지금보다도 더 좋은 팀이 될 수 있다고 생각해요.
So I think CLG has really good team management, like late game, like that game management. But I think we're able to win because we're like able to start, like initiate the fights when we had a like upper hand. So I think if CLG just kind of improves in that area, they'll be a better team.
Okay, we'll see how they do later on in the season. Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers who have been following you for 3.5 years now and seen you taking this title in the end as well?
그럼 페이커 선수 이제 마지막으로 이제 무려 거의 이제 3년 반이나 시간 동안 페이커 선수를 응원하고 이제 지지해준 팬들에게 한마디 말씀해 주세요.
정말로 지금까지 계속 저를 응원해 주셔서 정말로 감사드리고 또 저에 대한 비판이 좀 가끔 많을 때가 있는데 저는 그 사실인 비판들은 다 수용하기 때문에 앞으로도 좀 많이 비판해 주시고 또 앞으로도 많이 지켜봐 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
So I want to thank all the fans who have been cheering for me through all the time, and there are actually I have seen some criticism against me on the internet community, but I'm willing to take those that are based on facts. So I'll also welcome those criticisms in the future, and yeah, just keep cheering for me, please.
Yeah, bit of an answer there to the critics as well. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Faker and SKT taking home MSI. And a little bit of a veiled comment there in that last answer, but overall very happy to lift that trophy. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Faker, humble as ever, though, in his admission that he has received criticism, and some of it may be deserved throughout this tournament, but that he continues to accept that criticism and wants to continue to prove himself to his fans.
It's incredibly important as a player when you're at the top to continuously look how to improve, because if you rest on your laurels and you stay there, and by the time somebody's caught up, they're still moving forward. Like, they will just jump past you, so it's really very important. Sometimes that does mean you have to crawl to a lot of unfounded comments to find that one little nugget that does make you improve, but if he's strong enough to do so, by all means, keep doing so.
But let's take a look at the man's career, because he was undisputedly the best in the world. Then Imp goes over to LPL. He wins an LPL title. He goes into Worlds on LGD. Everyone's like, maybe Imp can rise up to the mantle. Like, they get crushed. All of a sudden, you know, when you have a look at this tournament, Mata comes back, and they're like, you know, Samsung's white Mata, now RNG, new version of that team. Faker crushes that team as well. Like, this guy just has every single answer on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and I'm just so amazed by Faker's sustained excellence. That was one of my big worries about esports when we change the game so frequently, is like, how long are these careers really going to be? Like, some players play for 6 months, like, I'm going to retire now, right? But Faker's been the best in the world for nearly 3 years now, which is kind of like truly legendary, especially in the League of Legends sense. And the game's going to be changing again for this next patch, and I can't wait to see what he figures out.
Right, and he's got no shortage of hunger for more awards. I mean, he said it as many times as he can. You know, well, you've done it all, Faker, so what is there left to do? He's like, well, there's another Worlds coming up soon, and then there's an MSI after that.
No one's ever won 3 World Championships.
Exactly.
No one's ever won 2 in a row.
You know, it's that kind of a mentality that I do believe kind of feeds to what you're talking about, Crepo, in that, like, as long as he stays hungry, stays humble, and looks for those nuggets of criticism that are useful, he can continue to grow and evolve as a player.
And obviously that he needs infrastructure around him, you know, coaches, good teammates that are not afraid to give him criticism, also just not blindly agree with him, because we've seen so many players at the top of the game just stick to their old patterns, be like, nope, this is the way the game's supposed to be played, we'll only do this, the meta changes, suddenly it's too late, suddenly you're not used to dealing with criticism either, and things fall apart. So I obviously have no insight in the inner workings of SKT. What we get is interviews, which, you know, may not always be the most accurate, but it does seem that they have really good infrastructure. And Faker, if he truly is taking some of those criticisms into account, by all means, yeah, he may still be the best for many years to come.
Well, with the information at hand, you have to like look at it. Like he was playing pretty much control mages, but then he goes on to Lulu. He's willing to play support. He's had so many assassin games with Fizz and Echo in this tournament. The guy just does it all. Like honestly, it's so easy to be like patched in as a player, and you know be able to play carries or something like that. But he really is like mercurial in the way that he can just play across every single form of the game.
And even through that, though, in the interview, he also mentioned that he truly believes team effort, listing all 4 of his team members, but then specifically pointed out that in this series he felt Bang and Wolf really stepped up to the plate. So let's discuss that bot lane in the way that they attributed, or rather contributed to this victory.
Yeah, Bang's Ezreal was absolutely awesome. Like, if you're going to be able to play the lane passively and keep your farm even like that, as soon as he hits that 2-item power spike, Bang then started playing extremely aggressive. And even Afremu was saying in some of the pre-tournament interviews that it's like playing against one person when you're playing against Bang and Wolf. So they were definitely very synergistic as a team.
Even just the team in general, they switched to Afremu every single chance they had. They were just looking towards teamfight. Nope, they pivot, they go right. Suddenly Afremu is dead. He no longer can sustain the fight. Wolf's Nami was incredible, always holding his ulti for the disengage and then landing some clutch bubbles, and that's hard. Like, landing bubbles on itself is already annoying. Against really good players that know it's coming, it is hard. That 2-man bubble was absolutely fantastic.
Well, with that, we're going to send it back down to Shox one last time, who's joined by another one of our MSI champions.
Thank you very much. And of course, we wanted to check in with Wolf because he promised that he would be back here after winning the title. Wolf, congratulations to you as well. Our analysts had a lot of praise for your Nami, and Faker himself just said that he thought that the bottom lane played really, really well. How do you look back on your performance in this final?
저희 이제 라이브 분석가들 그렇고 페이커 선수도 울프 선수가 엄청난 활약을 해줬다고 얘기를 했었는데 울프 선수는 본인의 결승전 활약에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
1, 2세트 같은 경우에는 그런 활약 같은 면은 딱히 못 보여드린 것 같아서 네, 그런 말씀해 주신 거에 대해서 감사는 하지만 네, 잘 모르겠어요. 3경기에는 제가 잘했다고 생각해요, 굉장히.
I actually think I didn't play that well during the first 2 games. So I want to thank you for all the good comments, but I don't know if I deserve that. But for the 3rd game, maybe I think I actually played pretty well.
Okay, very humble in that as well. I got to ask you about the Nami pick specifically. There's been so much talk about the ranged supports. Why did you pick it first off in game 1, and why did it work in the entire series?
그 이제 이번 결승전 때 나미와 같이 원거리형 서포 챔피언들을 많이 골랐었는데 그 챔피언을 어떻게 고르게 됐는지 그리고 네 어떻게 고른지 좀 말씀해 주세요.
어제 아프로모 선수가 경기하실 때 나도 저런 상황이 되면 챔피언을 뭘 해야 하지 이런 생각을 했었는데 아프로모 선수가 소나를 하셨더라고요. 그래서 나도 소나 괜찮아 보이네. 근데 나미도 뭐 괜찮아 보이네 하면서 네 그냥 뭐 괜찮아 보여서 했어요. 그냥.
So when I was watching CLG and Flashwell's game yesterday, and when Afremu was forced to pick like Sona, like when he had other champions banned or taken away, I thought like, what would I play in that kind of situation? And I saw him win with a Sona pick, so I thought, okay, Sona works, then Nami could work as well. And the champion looked pretty good, and that's how I got to play Nami.
Yeah, and win with it 3 times in a row. Looking at the big picture here, we saw you saying in a video in the beginning of the year, I want to be on an SKT that grows. Now, in the middle of the year, you have already reached such high heights and won MSI. How will you retain this until the World Championship?
그 울프 선수 이제 사전 인터뷰 영상에서 이제 더욱더 성장하는 SKT 되고 싶다라고 말씀하셨는데 MSI를 우승하면서 거의 이미 최고점을 찍은 것 같아요. 시즌 중간에 어떻게 하면 이 폼을 그대로 유지한 채 이제 LCK 썸머랑 롤드컵까지 갈 수 있을까요?
되게 어려운 문제 같아요. 이 폼이라는 게 굉장히 네, 어려운데 아무래도 지금같이 네, 우승을 향해서 열심히 연습하고 뭐 딱히 뭐 헛짓이라고 해야 되나 그런 거 하는 선수가 없어서 네, 아마 이대로 쭉 간다면 LCK나 그 다음 롤드컵도 네, 괜찮은 모습 나올 것 같아요.
So it's really hard to say how we're gonna maintain our performance. Like I don't think there's any other way but just to keep on working hard, keep on practicing, and I think our team is relatively less distracted to other things. So I think if we just keep on working hard, then we'll be able to play better and play even play better in the World Championship.
Wolf, is there anything you want to say to our viewers and the fans?
마지막으로 저희 시청자들이나 팬들에게 한마디 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
제가 어제 트위터를 보고 있었는데 아프로모 선수와 샥준 누나가 사진 찍은 게 올라왔더라고요. 그래서 굉장히 부러웠어요. 네, 그 말 하고 싶은데 이 말 해도 될까요? 그리고 사진 저도 한 장 찍을 수 있으면 좋겠다고 좀 말씀해 주세요.
Okay. Yesterday I saw on Twitter Afromo taking a selfie with the Sharks. So I was wondering if I could take one with you as well.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, perfect. We will do that in just a second because I do feel like we have to head back to the guys. But thank you very much. We're going to take that selfie and we're going to leave it over to the guys to wrap up the tournament.
Thank you very much, Shocks.
Good operator.
Yep.
Smooth.
Got to hand it to him. I love it. Well, Wolf there again, deserved championship after some criticism. Another player that did face criticism along with Blank throughout this tournament and really stepping up, bringing in that Nami, finding an answer to what Afromu had been doling out to players across the tournament.
Hey, EDG Aaron said if he was going to change someone on the SKT lineup, it would be Wolf before the final. So, being able to silence critics is one of the best things about being a pro player, and he definitely did that.
But then he goes, we see Sharks in the background. Then he goes against, our players are not distracted by anything else. And at the closing interview of MSI finals, he was like, yo, can I get a selfie real quick there?
After the games.
After the games, come on.
He was laser focused before that, man.
All righty, well, given the victory here by SKT, given everything we've seen over the last 2 weeks, gentlemen, the one last thing I want to discuss is what the future holds for competitive League of Legends, right? SKT is still the best team. Who's going to take them down? But at the same time, the growth of CLG, maybe even the growth of NA, as well as the other regions, LMS included.
I mean, CLG improved as play, but I really want to highlight the growth they've had as an organization as well. And then if we have to go all the way back to where they started, it kind of started in Hotshot's basement. At one point, his mom was running the team, and from my experiences, they always had the right idea. And Hotshot, as an owner, towards me was always very genuine, but they lacked the execution. Sometimes there were the right concepts, but execution was lacking. But they've really doubled down on really getting the right infrastructure right now. They even have a chef in-house that cooks their meals. Zig seems to be on top of things. When they come on the stage, they're laser focused, almost too serious. I wonder if they even enjoyed playing on the stage, but that's a secondary discussion. But it seems that things are going right for a lot of these North American organizations, and especially CLG. And then with the right talent that seems very teamwork focused, CLG may not have yet hit their ceiling.
And when you look forward as well, you also have to bring up Europe, because they sent a young team over to this tournament. And whilst people are going to overperform, there are going to be regions that underperform. I mean, China did it last year, and LPL went through a crushing phase where people had completely wrote them off. They redeemed themselves here, but I really do look forward to a younger European scene bouncing back towards Worlds, because we've seen how classy some of these European players can be. And I think that if you count them out now, I would question very much what you're actually thinking, because they sent a young team. It didn't go their way, but they can definitely come back from it.
Yeah, it's like one of those sayings, on any given Sunday. But in League of Legends, it's like at any given tournament. Different things can happen. There's so many factors that go into the preparation before the tournament, whether it be scrims, whether it's your mindset about how you're going to approach it, and then how well your organization organizes and manages your time. So, I really do still look forward to the World Championship, because I don't think we're going to get exactly the same tier list of regional results. More teams, more games, more chances to redeem yourself.
Yeah, Europe definitely took a learning experience here. As much as people meme about vacation and all, and G2 not showing up, I think it's good because we have two really, really solid organizations in Europe that are player-founded. Both Ocelot and XPEC started their organizations. There will be growing pains. There will be things that are not executed poorly. They will need to allow for growth. Hopefully, everybody in Europe, speaking hopefully from my region, then takes a lesson out of this, more professionality, more infrastructure, and just do their best to get the best teams out there in the best way possible.
Yeah, and I think that, I'm going to, once again, use that to kind of bridge to what RNG accomplished in this, because they came onto home soil. There was so much pressure on these young Chinese players to step up, and they were able to finish first seed. Sure, they fell down in the best of 5, but that just teaches them that, it's not about the best of ones, and you do need to build on that mental fortitude, that coaching as well. So I think that Europe and LPL are two of the teams that maybe took the harshest learnings out of this tournament and hopefully can continue to grow.
Well, we will look for that growth as the year continues out of all of our teams. And while we're closing the books on MSI 2016, there's plenty of League of Legends to look forward to. The summer split kicks off in just a few weeks with the European LCS returning on June 2nd with a brand new best-of-2 format. And North America kicks off their summer split just one day later, introducing a third day of broadcast and best-of-3 format on June 3rd. Now, on behalf of myself, the desk, and all of us here in Shanghai covering the 2016 Midseason Invitational, thank you for joining us over the last 2 weeks, and we'll see you in the summer split.
It's going to be a lot of games.
Yeah, many more times. This is what we need to close the gap. That's what I've been told, right? You just need more.
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone says.
Yeah.
LCK 25th, LPL 26th.